Hello and welcome. Today's topic title is You Are Not Selling Ice to Eskimos, Time to Let Go of Self-Doubt, which is one that has come from my own personal experience as a creative professional. And I'm guessing that you've had a similar experience to this, because sometimes those closest to you may be the ones that actually fuel your self-doubt more than they realize through seemingly off-the-cuff statements like this. Someone who used to be in my inner circle used to use this phrase on me regularly, saying, "You could sell ice to Eskimos." This statement made me feel like what I was doing did not offer real value, especially since it was about the products that I was making to sell and earn my income. It was one of many statements expressed around my creative professional pursuits that fueled my self-doubt and led me to try and find value in what I did, which was why I focused so heavily on helping others succeed in doing what they are passionate about to earn their living. Because I truly believe creativity has an important part to play in everyday living experiences. Life has a funny way of teaching us the lessons we really need to learn to lead us to do what we're actually here to do as our contribution to the collective. I could never see myself thriving in a regular job. I have tried taking those over the years, but being unique, not only in the way that I present myself, but also the work that I do, is part of how I'm here to serve the collective. And I'm guessing it's part of how you're here to serve too. It has taken a lot of practices around self-empowerment for me to truly step into my power and realize I was not selling ice to Eskimos. I was doing what lights me up and also doing what I believe in, which is reducing waste by repurposing the old and discarded, transforming them into statement pieces, and offering the results of that as gifts to the collective, which resonated with many customers, which is why it was seemingly effortless for me to sell that which was perceived as something that was not really necessary to have, but nice to have. What my products did was add a little bit of magic to the days of those they resonated with, often sparking fond childhood memories and igniting a connection back to the beauty of wild nature that we as a human race tend to disconnect ourselves from in the mainstream. As a creative professional who has established and run businesses both online and in physical bricks and mortar spaces over the last 25 years, first of all, as a professional photographer, I enjoyed capturing the beauty of living for my clients. Then, as an artisan, it was my quest to create items that contribute to the beauty of our everyday living experiences. I have sold numerous uniquely crafted items over the last 17 years that were not seen out there in mainstream product design. As a coach and content creator, I support others in living their life by design and get to enjoy that with location freedom. But it is also essential for me to fulfill that role by having all the items I need on hand, organized, ready to support that. And as an artisan, I can't help but desire that those items be beautiful too. So, in today's video, I'm going to help dispel that notion that pursuing our creative expression as a career path is a frivolous pursuit and share why it is more valuable than just doing what needs to be done to get by. That's another phrase that was expressed to me regularly in response to a suggestion which was dismissed as not so important because they were doing what needed to be done. But I believe we can do what needs to be done while we experience the magic that life has to offer us. It does not need to be one or the other. Artisanal living entwines doing what we need to do with experiencing magic along the way. So the key points I want to cover in today's video is creative expression and how it supports our well-being, not just for us, but for others. Natural gifts and abilities are what we are here to contribute. Health and wholeness, let's look at that a little more deeply. And the importance of both creative flow and disciplined structure. So let's look at point one, the value of creative expression and how it supports well-being for us as well as for others. We are all essential workers and we all play a part in contributing to the collective tapestry. I've expressed in previous videos and podcast episodes the challenges faced as a creative professional amongst people who either don't work for themselves or earn a living through their creative practice. and how they found it hard to see creativity as a viable career path. Being asked at family gatherings if I'd worked that week, having visitors to my commercial space say, I wish I could have a place like this to create, but I have a job. It is a shame that our society has not valued creative expression as a viable career option, as much as doing the work that sucks the life out of us in order to be able to afford to enjoy the outcome of someone else's creative expression and career pursuit. Creative expression contributes to well-being, not just for the one expressing themselves creatively, but for those who come in contact with the result of that. The magic of experiences enjoyed in a restaurant, at a festival, even the atmosphere of a public space that soothes the soul and makes our hearts sing, is a result of someone's creative expression. So, why is it viewed as a frivolous pursuit? When I completed my Bachelor of Arts in Visual Arts and Design, I expressed the thing I felt was missing from our university studies was the business of art. We were encouraged to get a degree in education in order to have a safety net and guaranteed income stream. I did most of my education degree, but I did not complete it as I wanted to find a way to earn my income doing what I loved, living a life on purpose, with purpose, enjoying magical experiences every day, not delaying that for later in life or those snapshots of magical experiences during holidays. It's not that I don't like to teach others. Having the opportunity to work in schools, though, gave me the experience of the opposite of what using my creative expression to earn my living would enable me to do. I don't believe the school system supports creative problem-solving skills, which are required for someone to successfully be self-employed, let alone earn an income through creating art. And when I say art, I don't mean just visual art. A spoon that feels good in your hand is designed by someone using their creative expression and problem-solving skills to make something that appeals to your sense of sight and touch. Even a simple implement like a spoon requires creative thinking to add that touch of magic to an ordinary item. Teaching students to understand how to take their natural ability and skill and use it to contribute their magic to the world and be able to sustain a lifestyle that supports their creative expression seems to me to be a lot healthier than recommending they become a teacher and spend their days dotting I's, crossing T's, and ticking boxes in order to pursue their creative passion. Forget the fact that we can't all be teachers. The magic created through creative expression has more purposes than just teaching others how to perform a craft. Being stopped in the street and at the supermarket, at the service station, being complimented on my earrings, on my kangaroo fur vest, or my entire outfit. These are the ways that I express myself creatively, and I don't do so to get attention, but stopping people in their tracks could potentially be a part of how I'm here to serve the collective, breaking them out of their everyday activities to engage in something that's beautiful and inspiring, maybe even permission giving for them to make space for their own creative interests and expression. Often during meetings that I attend in person and online, other attendants comment on my backgrounds or my outfits. It's a moment of pause, a brush with the magical. That's what living creatively does, not only for ourselves, but for others. It brings us back to that magical essence of life, which is what we are here to experience. We are not just here to pay bills and get by. So let's look at point number 2. Our natural gifts and abilities are what we are here to contribute. My ability to see the potential in something old and discarded that would otherwise be deemed useless and transforming it into a statement piece, like the guitar case behind me, which was actually made out of an old blanket. And it was the first blanket that I had rescued and repurposed. And that guitar case started a whole range of products made from old blankets, which included bags, duffel bags, technology sleeves, a whole range of things, lots of different instrument cases. I've made hundreds over the years. And these are little touches of magic that add to the experiences of other people's everyday living experience. It was not about selling stuff to people that they did not need. It was about transforming something that could still be useful in a new form, such as an old blanket with holes and frayed edges, rescued and repurposed into that full range of products that added magic to other people's days for years and years to come. Just the other day, I was in the supermarket and a lady in front of me was carrying one of the bags that I used to sell in my store. I didn't tell her that I made it, but I did have a little smile on my face to see one still floating around. I closed that store 2 years ago, and I know people are still using guitar cases that I made for them 10 years ago because they have told me. As someone who practices creativity as a professional pursuit, let me tell you, it is not something you can just switch off and set aside and forget about in order to do work that just pays the bills. Those ideas that enter our minds need to be expressed through the act of creating. So we are able to transform those visions into tangible pieces. Otherwise, they just keep haunting you until you do. Have you ever experienced that? Where an idea just keeps entering your thoughts, you wake up in the night thinking about it, the image shows up in your meditations, or while you're driving, or while you're making dinner, and it gets to a point where the only way to release the idea out of your head is to actually create it. That is because that is what you are here to do. That is how you are meant to spend your time here on earth. Not everyone receives the same ideas. Some receive ideas for how to create a mechanical item that resolves a day-to-day problem for the collective, like the invention of the washing machine, vacuum cleaner, or dishwasher, while others receive ideas for lyrics to a song that bring tears to the eyes of those who hear the song on the radio because it expresses what they are feeling but could not put into words, let alone create the melody that aligns with those feelings. Telling someone to set aside their creative expression because it's frivolous, not valuable to others, is like tying up a bird's wings and telling it to climb the tree to get to the nest where they left their hatchlings instead. I often wonder if I need another pair of earrings when a new design enters my mind. And then the moment I start making the earrings, not to sell, but just for me to process a challenge I am going through, and then I wear the earrings like a talisman, you can be guaranteed someone will stop me as I go about my day and say how much they love my earrings, asking where I got them from, whether or not I made them. And they end up serving this opportunity to connect with another human being that I may not have connected with otherwise. They also serve to ignite a spark of inspiration in the other. Often, when I wear my handcrafted leather cuff, it sparks conversations with others asking if I'd made it, and it sends them into a fond memory of their leather crafting memories from when they were a child and they used to express themselves creatively through that craft, but then had let it go. Often people say, I'd like to start that up again. There is something magical about creating something with our own hands and using it as a part of our everyday living experience. But for some, it's not about the creation process, but the enjoyment of something infused with the energy of handcrafted magic. It's something made by another. I have had many repeat customers over the years buying items for themselves or for others that they do not have the skills to create, but truly appreciate the outcome of someone else's skills and what it contributes to their daily experience. Now, I love to cook, but I am by no means a chef, and when I eat out, I love to eat somewhere where someone else is expressing their creativity through food, creating a taste and textural sensation that I do not have the skills to create or even the vision to create myself. Now, of course, creating a career from your creative skills takes more than just skill. It takes discipline and determination and means doing some things you're not exactly passionate about in order to support the lifestyle that allows you to get to enjoy your creative profession. It's not all rainbows and butterflies, and there are aspects that are not much fun. They just need to be done. And if you're a solopreneur, that often means wearing many hats, which is why I choose to take inspiration from nature and operate in a cyclical manner. and why I love helping others through my embodiment coaching service, helping them connect to their inner essence, letting that be their outer expression as an income stream, understanding our unique energy system, and planning out our activities to support our thriving to get all that we need to done in order to earn our living through our creative work, which is what I support people with through my embodiment coaching. This is something you think you could do with support with in realizing your dreams, then click on the link in the description and reach out for a complimentary connection call. Now, this brings me to the third point of health and wholeness. Health and wholeness. Have you ever experienced that disempowerment of being in a job that sucks out your life energy and leaves you feeling depleted at the end of the day? How is that the best use of our abilities when the results of persisting in such a role will just lead to ill health, being medicated or debilitated? What lights one person up is not going to be the same as what lights another person up. And there is a good reason for that. We are not all meant to be the same or do the same thing. In the same way that the bird who usually spends its days gathering and distributing wild seeds should not be expected to perform the same task as a sea creature that spends its days cleaning up the ocean floor. For us to sustain health and wholeness, we need to tune into and utilize our natural abilities which align with the purpose that we are here to contribute to the collective with. For some of us, that means performing more than one role. If you know anything about human design, you will know that as a manifesting generator, I am not here to engage in one job description doing something on rinse and repeat. What keeps me stimulated is using a variety of skills throughout my days, which is why I love to create content in the digital space, coach people, as well as create products manually using my hands. They're all creative endeavors, but using different skills. For me, I also need to keep my body moving. Anytime I have worked on tasks that require me to sit at a computer all day long, by the end of the day, I'm completely drained of energy. But physical movement fills me with energy. There are times in my menstrual cycle where I intentionally spend a couple of days in stillness, especially at the beginning of my cycle, which aligns with the energy of the new moon. And if you don't have a personal cycle, then it's great to actually work with energy of the moon cycles. And in that 28-day period, you then get to focus on a range of different activities and cover a range of the necessities. As a creative professional and business owner, cyclical living plays a really important role for me because it's not just about doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for different results. It's about going through and analyzing what's working or deciding on what needs to be done next in order to complete the cycle of something that you intended to put out there. But of course, we're all different. So what serves me does not necessarily serve you, which is why it's important for us to develop self-awareness and design a life that supports our unique way of thriving. Just like the design of a bird is to use its wings to soar through the sky and legs to maneuver across the land when required, which is not the same as a cat, which can also make its way up a tree and across land, but a bird has the ability to fly from one tree to another and escape the strike of a cat. The differences in our human vehicle give us a unique skill set and energetic makeup, which has a unique part to play in the collective. The difference may not be as obvious as having wings or not, but we can witness the difference in those in our circle of influence. Some people are just naturally gifted at working with numbers. Others will be lateral thinkers and problem solvers, and that's their ability that they're naturally inclined towards. And for some, it can be seeing the details that others may not even notice. That is why it's really important for us to be able to tune into our natural abilities and gifts and learn how to cover all of the bases of what it is that we need to do in order to support a lifestyle that we desire to live that fosters our thriving. Now, I don't believe we were designed to suffer through our days to earn the right to live a life we love. I believe what supports our thriving is to engage in what truly lights us up and contributes to the collective with our unique gifts. Your natural abilities towards creative expression has a part to play in the bigger picture of the human experience, which is why we need to foster that. Which brings me to point 4, the importance of both creative flow and disciplined structure. This relates back to cyclical living again, setting up those structures and practices that foster our creative flow, which enables us to do that which has to be done in order to support us in developing the income we wish to earn from the work we wish to create. On top of that, we can't just create and not share ourselves with the world and expect to be able to earn a living. Being in a rural location, spending my days working alone at home, the importance of developing ways to support my creative inspiration as well as connect me with potential clients is so important. Having systems in place that support the output of content created, as well as necessary record keeping for financial reporting and even data analysis, looking at what's working and what's not, helps me decide on where to place my energy and what to pull back from or what to actually pursue further. As an example, the difference between Instagram and YouTube for me at the moment is actually quite significant. When I had a commercial space, I used Instagram a lot to keep people updated with what was coming up on the weekend, what events were taking place, for people to just stay in touch with what products were coming in and out, day in, day out. Whereas YouTube is actually something that creates more of that longevity connection with people, where people can keep drawing that information that serves them over and over again. Instagram has more of a 24-hour, 48-hour period that it serves and then disappears. So for me, placing more of my effort into YouTube actually serves my ability to create a career that supports my thriving using my creative gifts and skills. Now, I've also had to be creative in the way that I get work in front of potential customers and clients. The most effective way for me has always been being my own walking billboard, just being out and about, living life, allowing my inner essence to be my outer expression and being my creative self. That, as I've said, stops people in the street and engages in conversation about what I do. I used to be really shy about saying, I actually make these, or I sell that, or I have a shop that I sell these through. But now I don't have the shop, and so I have to be willing to actually say, yeah, this is my creation. This is what I do. It is a part of what I do to earn my living. So creating supportive practices for myself, like having a mobile office packed and ready to go so I can work from anywhere, is a really important thing because it enables me to actually get out and about and be visible rather than just be tucked away here on a hill on the edge of a village, not seeing anyone unless I put something online, but actually in person be out and about, but also continue on with my work. Now, I want to share a whole other video on that, on how I've set up my mobile office to be ready to go, filled with beautiful items, handcrafted items that support me in doing my work effectively and keeping my mobile office organized, which also allows me to move from room to room in the house according to the weather. So right now I'm in a room that we call the Zen Den, and it is a beautiful little room with a light-filled room, but it is also quite a cold room. So sometimes I actually prefer to work by the fireplace, and other times I'm out in the studio shed working. And my little mobile office enables me to go between these spaces effortlessly within my own home. So it is not about me trying to sell ice to Eskimos when I create items for everyday living experiences that are made out of the old and discarded, because even my leather goods started with working with offcuts of kangaroo leather. But that, again, is a whole other story. I just really want to stress here that it is our passion that drives us to fulfill our purpose. And there's so much satisfaction that comes from creating with our own hands, for me in particular, and using what I've created as a part of my daily activities. Creativity plays a much more important role in our lives than society has given credit to. So my encouragement to you is to make space in your days, to transform your creative ideas into tangible items so that you can spread your magic throughout the collective too, as there are people who need just what it is you create to enhance their daily living experience. So don't hold back from sharing your unique thread in contribution to the collective tapestry. Now, I'd love for you to leave a comment and let me know what you do that lights you up, that you would love to turn into an income stream, or what you have had to overcome in terms of self doubt based on the seemingly harmless lines that others have expressed to you over the years. Keep in mind that what people express is often based on their own fears or feelings of lack. So they may not intentionally second guess your ability to earn your income through your creative expression work, but it may have more to do with the fact that they don't believe that they can do it and make it work. When you speak to people who are doing what they love to earn their living, you will receive very supportive advice rather than phrases based on limiting beliefs. So, if you want someone to cheer you on and support you in transforming your passion into an income stream, develop new habits and practices, and create structure in your days to support you in realizing this dream, then be sure to click on that link in the description and reach out for a connection call, because I would love to support you as a coach. And I also have two other videos that I think you should watch. One of them is titled Want to Know the Secret to Living a Magical Life? And the other is a podcast chat with a landscape designer and artist, Ricky Lee James. If you need more inspiration on doing what you love to do to create an income stream, these two videos I hope will support you in that too.